Welcome everybody to League Zero. I'm Joe Razor, joined here by my wonderful co-commentator. Today we will be bringing you your match in the intermediate division in between two kind of scary teams, honestly, in Double Cap and Tenacity.
Yeah, two very, very potent teams. I recently casted a game of Double Cap. They looked pretty decent. I do believe they won out over Mortal Wombats in a pretty action-packed game, so I'm excited to see them again. And Tenacity, obviously, tied for top of the intermediate leaderboard at the moment, so it's shaping up to be a good game. And honestly, I interviewed both the captains, and the captain of Double Cap said that Tenacity, although they look a little bit shaky on the brawl, apparently they have a very strong DPS lineup, both of them actually being all-stars last season. So I'm pretty hyped now to see a DPS lineup, because I think that's kind of what everybody likes to see, the DPS making flashy plays and popping off. And yeah, that's just kind of what I'm banking on now, just seeing some sick McCree headshots and whatnot. Maybe some nice little death blossoms every now and again.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for this. But yeah, so like you said, both teams have had moderately good starts to the season. Double Cap came in as a very strong team. A lot of these players have played together previously, and they're all around they're just a scary team. Let's just put it that way. And they had a bit of a rough week one against Capitalism, and then 3-2 in an incredibly close series. And then last week, like you said, they lost to Mortal Wombats in that 3-2. Once again, extremely close. Um, but the thing is, Tenacity beat Mortal Wombats in week one in a 3-0 fashion. So if you're just looking at stats and ignoring, and if you haven't watched the games and you just look kind of at the stats, Tenacity are definitely favored here. But I feel like Double Cap definitely can make this a very close series. Like I said, the players are very skilled, and so it would not be a shock to me if we see a very close series.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot can change over a few weeks. We kind of saw the difference that pretty much 1 week's training made last week there when Real Redemption fell to the bottom team in their game. So we can kind of see that standings, it's not everything. Weeks can change, players can get a better mindset, teams can change up their strategies, and things are never too stagnant. And the comment that worried me a little bit was Tenacity. Double Cap said Tenacity looked a little weak on the Brawl, and I think Brawl is pretty much it. Well, it just is the meta at the moment. And if you can't play the meta, you're gonna be in for a rough time because the meta obviously gonna be pretty good on most maps. And especially if the teams are picking maps and we have Nepal. Nepal is pretty decent for Brawl. Yeah, it does have some good wiggle room for DPS, so maybe Tenacity are looking poised to take it if we do go to Nepal, but if it's Lijiang, I think Brawl is just gonna kind of win out. So I think the map choices are gonna be very, very impactful here if Tenacity do come out and are a little bit weaker on the Brawl when compared to Double Cap.
Yeah, for sure. Just a bit of a side note here. The community also favors it in favor of Tenacity. If you saw the countdown recently, so does a lot of the analysts. And that makes sense. And I am quite excited to see what goes down and which teams are more comfortable in the brawl and which teams are more comfortable in the dive. We have a bit of info, but the season is still so early that you can't have it's kind of hard to have really good opinions on which team is good at what style. But I think if we keep grinding through the season, I think pretty soon we can start getting a better understanding of which teams are good at which styles.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think it is still early stages for the league, obviously, and teams are going to be kind of looking to compete and just kind of stack themselves up against each other. Because again, it could be kind of one of those Atlanta Rain, San Francisco Shock kind of situations where one team's style just completely counters another team, even though the other team is on paper better. So it could end up being one of those. Who knows? Maybe Double Cap just their style just plays really well into Tenacities. We'll have to see when we get into the game, into the lobby, into the thick of it, as they say. But as you said, Tenacity, they are definitely still the heavy favorites on paper, especially after their DPS lineup. Looking pretty good, but who knows? Maybe the double cap synergy could come out a little bit here and they pull out something that nobody could see coming. Hopefully, we get into that lobby soon and we can kind of put all this speculation to bed, and really see who's the best.
Yeah, for sure. as we are still having a bit of delays, but it is Nepal, like you said. That will be the uh, that will be the map that we start on. Like you said, a very brawl heavy map. Village as well. That's you see the Sim May comps kind of dominate over there. You move over onto Shrine, and you can continue to see the Sim May, but as you get a bit more of longer sight line, sometimes you see the Hanzo come in instead of Symmetra. And then even on I just forgot the name. The other point, uh, I think it's Temple. You see a lot of Hanzo as well, a little bit less Symmetra. So you can see kind of different variations of Brawl on all three of these points, and I am excited to see if one team is a bit more comfortable in one style of Brawl over the other. Because, I mean, even though it's one hero that changes, it completely changes the how the comp is played.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, if you just swap that Diva for a Sigma, suddenly you're playing a much slower, much more stagnant, much less brawl heavy comp because you're just missing that extra 600 HP that the Diva provides. So yeah, I definitely agree with you, and I do think that Nepal, although as you were saying there, it is still very brawl reliant. I think it's probably the least brawl reliant of the choices they had, especially I think on this one with a big old hole, you can maybe swap out the Diva for a Sigma, maybe swap out the Kree for a Hanzo, play poke, kind of go the wide side and just kind of chill out a little bit and just poke your way into it. A dive comp also actually being hovered. That is also very possible for double cap. I saw them run that in their game against Mortal Wombat. Looks pretty decent, but they're kind of going for the brawl dive style with the Moira Lucio. So what do you make of this comp, Joe?
Yeah, you said it's a bit of a dive, but it's more of a brawl comp. It's kind of the six-man dive, but your goal is to choose a target, yell, clump up, then run at it. So similar in style, but on the other side, this is Sigma ball poke comp. So they want to play very long sight lines, wait for the ball to create disruption, let the DPS go ham. It's a very quick rotation coming out from double cap. They're going to try and engage onto the Zenyatta, who is found out completely alone at some great target focus. And then they follow up onto Oats as well. So now the two-player advantage is enough for them to roll through this fight and get the first capture.
Yeah, I'd say given the comps that are being run, I think double cap taking the first cap is just kind of a formality, to be honest. Their comp plays so amazingly against Tenacities. It's honestly just a bit of a hard counter because Tenacities comp want to play very split, and yeah, double cap's comp want you to play split. They're not going to switch to a hyper dive instead, going for the Diva. They're both going to engage early here.
Yeah, Ball attempts to engage early. You see Pongo going into the back, causing so much disruption. And then the synergy him and Frozen have is enough to take down Ima Stack. She was just not been allowed to play the game in all honesty. Wrecking Ball's still trying to cause some disruption, but when you're down multiple players, there's only so much Epic Shock can do.
Yeah, I still favor double cap's comp here. I think their kind of shadow dive brawl comp is a little bit better than the kind of hyper divey comp being around here. They still have a Zen Mercy, which is very diveable, and yeah, double cap taking the aggression here.
I mean, look at this. They're going so far in. And they've completely isolated the Zenyatta as well. And Frozen's going to try to chase after that kill, but he's not able to. And Oates actually gets Pongo off the edge, and they drop their bait, take it, so it becomes... It's very... this comp that Double Cap is running, they want to play very close together. And then all of a sudden, they were forced to split up. And players are starting to drop. Diva committed to attempt to get a remech in, does not find any kills, but the remech is able to happen, so... They will be able to force their way back on this point a bit quicker.
Yeah, not a huge fan of that Diva ball. Maybe if you control the point, you can kind of justify getting a few extra percentile, but in that case, I don't really think it's worth it. But Frozen here, shaping up with his EMP. Look like they want to go in. That's a big EMP.
Oh, but those mines are absolutely massive. So now you have double cap split. 3 players in one part of the map, 3 players on the other part. And so they could just get torn apart. This is exactly what this... Tenacity comp wants to do. Really nice fight there, and a big minefield thrown out by Epic Shock to cause that disruption.
Yeah, very nicely done as well. Frozen didn't even get the Zenyatta as well with their ult there, so the EMP wasn't really destined for greatness unless you get that Zenyatta trance with a good counter to EMP, as long as you're not caught by the EMP, obviously. But now that they're in control of the point here, Tenacity are looking good now that Squirrel Ben here has the room to operate on this Ashe, and an early Bob is looking good. Bob gets booped!
Yeah, really nicely done there to boop it off the edge. Even to the back forces Double cap into this small area, but Oates gets picked off by Pongo. Trade is able to come through as Silver Pulse is caught out of position, and Ravioli starting to pop off here. Finds 2 kills. This team is starting to lack members, so may need to come up big once again, but Squirrel Ben with a boop off the edge. That's the 3rd environmental kill in this fight. He follows up with the DMAC as well. Hits a couple of nice shots, and Tenacity are able to flip it back over as they will only need one more fight. I say that, but Double Cap are taking the fight to them.
Yeah, 3 people going off the map so far. Epic Shock dropping very low on point, but Squirrel Ben is still just uncontested, raining in damage, finding so many kills. What a play from them.
Yeah, Squirrel Ben does come up big, and then as well, iMustache is just allowed to run rampant on these off angles.
Yeah, you saw that Double Cap were kind of forced to a point. They're not able to deal with iMustache and Squirrel Ben, and Squirrel Ben already has another bob. That's just a testament to how much work they've been able to do. And look, it's happening again for Double Cap. They're just being forced to a point, and the hurt is just being rained in from afar.
Yeah, as an attempt to take down Frozen, and it's done so successfully, and everybody else is starting to drop. Squirrel Ben coming up big, and in a round where Double Cap got 70% for free, and then ran into Tenacity spawn, it just gets turned right on its head as Tenacity are able to take Temple.
Yeah, you kind of saw that one mistake and it all goes down the drain. That is so unfortunate for Double Cap. It was looking good, and they were looking pretty clean on the Shadow Dive, which isn't a easy comp to run. It's definitely one of the best comps to run when you can get it kind of down to a T, because how do you stop 6 players diving onto one of yours? There isn't really a counterplay for that unless you have an ultimate. So, it was looking good for them, but now we're going to be going to Shrine, and this is pretty much a completely different map. We're going to probably be seeing completely different comps from both teams, so at the very least, Double Cap aren't going to have to worry about Squirrel Ben on that Ashe, because they were causing problems.
Yeah, for sure. As we're going to see brawls from both sides, but one team in Double Cap is going to run the Symmetra variation.
Yeah, that's interesting. They're definitely going to have a lot more defensive staying power here, and if this Sim gets charged up, it can cause some big problems. The wall, bit of a hole in it, but it's good to throw the lamp at least.
Yeah, Sim walls don't get too much, but Dr. Jargo falls low and actually gets demeched there. It's a pretty good start to this fight there. Double Cap try to use their Maywall to peel out, but the fire strike from Pongo. Oh my days, finds 2 kills there. Ravioli tries to look for a cheeky pick there onto the Reinhardt, but is not able to do so. So Tenacity will, Double Cap, excuse me, will get the first capture.
Yeah, Tenacity making a nice little play there. They intentionally left just a wide enough gap for Adafi to think they could get through it, when really they couldn't. And they just get stuck there and fire stricken by Pongo, who, by the way, already has their Shatter 50% ahead of Epic Shock here. So I'll have to see if Epic Shock is aware of this possibility or Pongo gets a free Shatter.
Symmetra Wall thrown out early and countered to this Ant Matrix, and Epic Shock tries to walk forward and gets dropped there by Tanic. Pongo has the Shatter online, then he can drop it if he wants to try to get these kills slightly late into the fight. They have used Immortality, so he may go for it, but he thinks better of it and backs on out.
Yeah, not really sure how Epic Shock manages to fall there, especially with the Ant Matrix. You expect the Baptisios to be enough, but who knows, maybe someone's just hitting some nice things, and a Sim damage can never really be underestimated. A window of their own now looks good, but D-Matrix is good to negate most of it.
Yeah, it's Double Cap waiting for their opportunity to strike, and they'll do so with the Blizzard. Immortality feels good to try to keep everybody alive for now, but Pongo is able to overcome it to remove Epic Shock from the fight. Now he's taking a bit more aggression. iMustache drops on the side as well, so 2 players down. That's fight 1.
Yeah, very nice ult there from Tenacity. Recognizes that ult is very, very split off from the Ryan. It just says, well, if you're not next to the Ryan, no one's going to eat my Blizzard, and just kind of drops it right on Epic Shock's head. Pretty much a free kill, and Epic Shock has been having a really rough game so far. They're only now getting to their first Shatter in its last fight, so Tenacity needs to make something happen. They have a lot of ults to do it.
Very early High Noon, followed up by an Ant Matrix. Ooh! Oh my, that was a disgusting play there by Pongo. If he had jet slightly more around the corner, that would have hit all 6, but instead it creates an opportunity where this bomb, and then the remake from Oates can turn this tide of the fight. The sound barrier from Adifi was just enough to keep everybody alive, and Pongo's flash of brilliance is shut down there. So Tenacity are able to flip over at 99%.
Yeah, if you're double cap, you're not too upset about this. You know you have time. You can pretty much just bank ults and just win the next fight if you really want to, because you know that Tenacity, you used most of their ults, but Tenacity gonna be walling up to the high ground. This is an interesting hold. I don't think I've ever seen this before, so we'll have to see how they choose to engage this and how double cap are gonna approach it. Yeah, they're just gonna drop straight away, and it's gonna be an ult fest.
Yeah, an ult fest for sure. Tenacity are throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it. Soundbear now committed onto the side as Silvertulse is dropped early on a large source heal for double cap has been removed. And Ravioli's kind of caught out on his lonesome, so he will end up dropping. Shadow from Epic Shock does not really find a whole lot, only taking down Corey there, but now a defeat dropping the bait, trying to give a bit more sustain and forward aggression capabilities for Tenacity, and it looks to be working so far in this fight. Two players have dropped, and that's going to be Tenacity holding on to this point, most likely. But something to notice, the fact that Double Cap did manage to get a cap in there, so this whole time, Tenacity haven't been able to build any percent. Tanic? I thought this fight was over, but Tanic has killed two, and players are starting to come back into the fight, and they've won the round!
Yeah, oh, yikes. That's unfortunate. I believe in the kind of initial skirmish, like, Tenacity got quite a few kills, oh, not Frozen, like, got quite a few kills on the Symmetra, I think getting 2 kills, and Tenacity getting 2 more, and then I think Lucio for Double Cap also got 1. So it was just kind of a trickle of kills there from Double Cap, because they left the DPS just kind of unchecked. So, yeah, Tenacity's DPS were busy in the backline getting picked off, but Double Caps were putting their head down and getting to work, so that is pretty unfortunate if you're Tenacity, especially with that kind of unfortunate almost C9. Almost a C9.
Yeah, almost C9 for sure. TP thrown out. So it will be the Symmetra May from both sides. Sigma though from Oats. While you see the Diva for Double Cap, pretty good May was just able to get any initial picks there. The Immortality Fields do a good job of keeping everybody alive, but Oats is taking a brilliant off angle and does a lot of damage and is able to come up with 2 kills off the back of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Oats forgot to take TP, but I suppose calling it off angle works too. Silvertal is gonna get stalled out just a little bit, and yeah, Oats kind of taking the scenic route kind of works out for them. As you pointed out, that they kind of get gifted the off angle. That kind of reminds me of, you know, when Sigma first came out and everybody just off angled on him the entire time, and he was just the most annoying thing to deal with. Anyways, so I'm just getting reminiscent. All right, well, going into the next fight here, Silvertails is gonna have that window up pretty early, as well as Eye Mustache. And now it's actually Epic Shock who has their shadow very early, and we're gonna have to see if Pongo is gonna be ready for this. Maybe they go for a window break shield shadow play. That could be interesting.
Yeah, some interesting TPs come out from Tenacity to maneuver them around the map. Ant Matrix thrown out pretty early on, but Frozen tries to go for an off angle and it costs him his life. Now the Ant Matrix come out from Tenacity, try to engage off the back of that Symmetra wall, buys time though for Double Cap to cut it on out.
Yeah, Double Cap's gonna take the L, gonna get out while they still can, but it might look like Tenacity kind of chase him in. They're not gonna go past the choke, gonna think better of that. But yeah, Tenacity, they're happy to let him go there. They still have the ult advantage, and Double Cap only really have the sim auto to work with. They are taking a good rotate here, but an early flux to get it started.
Yeah, and early sim walls for both sides, and the shadow does not hit anything. It just hits Squirrel Ben's May wall. And then that shadow does hit 3 though on the ground, and 2 of them drop. Very nice play there coming out from the main tank of Double Cap, but the Blizzard is providing them with some utility to try to turn this, as Tenacity have evened out this fight. Ant Matrix thrown down, trying to keep the Diva up on point, but the May wall provides enough time for a frag to come their way. As this is a very back and forth fight, but Double Cap have the players to possibly sustain through this, but Symmetra, when she gets charged up, she decimates your lineup, and with so much damage coming out from Ravioli, Tenacity are in a great spot to manage to take this map.
Yeah, that is such a nice play from Ravioli there, just to stay alive with the help of Adafi. Very nicely done from them, and as you pointed out there, Sim staying alive is bad news bears, and now the beats coming out along with the Blizzard.
Temp sets some ultimates. That's reminiscent of the Zumba bomb right there. Just sitting on top of Epic Shock. And there's just not really anybody left for Tenacity. And a Desperation Flux comes through. Managed to get a DMEC, however, so this is looking good for them. A very funny bomb coming out from Dr. Jargo starts off a great re-engage from Double Cap.
Yeah, Double Cup finally gonna flip that point, but now they're the ones who are kind of 99-0, so they're gonna have to pull off quite a hold here, and they only really have Frozen Simwall to make it happen. One silver lining is Tenacity also looking pretty dry on the ult, so they're gonna have Window and they're gonna have Shatter, but that's kind of all they have to work with.
Metro Roll comes out, allows them to buy a bit of space there, just no engage coming off immediately, however. And I see the not the Symmetra Wall, excuse me, the Baptiste window from iMustache, and then the Shatter's pretty good there. It allows them to take Pongo down, follow up on Tenacity as well, so Tenacity are starting to run away with this fight. Just a couple players remaining. As long as they can take down Frozen, they're in a good spot, and they manage to turn on him. But the Baptiste from Silvertoes in the back through the Ant Matrix does quite a lot of damage. Blizzard thrown down to try to remove the remaining players. It's just Corey and Pongo alive currently. They're able to get a touch, but I don't know if they will be able to make anything come of this, as this is looking good for Tenacity managed to take map number 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised at just the amount of damage that Tenacity are able to come out with. I think Oats is just being an absolute menace on that Sigma. I think they're just almost completely unchecked, just on off angles pretty much constantly, and that's kind of what you have to do against a Symmetra. If you stack on top of your Reinhardt, you're just adding more shields for Frozen to get charged from. So you don't really want to stack on top of your Reinhardt. You kind of have to off angle, and Oats was just kind of doing that constantly, just constantly drawing the attention, constantly just dumping in damage with those hyperspheres, because Sigma, in case you forgot, 120 damage as long as you land both those shields. And that's quite a considerable amount of damage to be pumping out every 1.5 seconds. So Oats, definitely putting in some legwork there along with Ravioli, and just I'd say those were kind of the two most instrumental people in Tenacity taking away map 1 there on the pot.
Yeah, really good start there from Tenacity to manage to take this opening map, and was kind of a wild map at that. But now it moves over to Double Cap's map selection, as we do run with losers pick. What are your thoughts on what map that Double Cap may want to go with as we move over to Hybrid?
Well, since Double Cap did, I believe, say that Tenacity looked a little bit weaker on the Brawl, I assume they will be wanting to brawl more, although they did just lose the Brawl matchup. So maybe not as weak as Double Cap might have liked or might have thought, but we're gonna have to see how that goes for them. I'd say Kings Row, I'd say you're probably never gonna see this not pick, to be honest. I think teams just like it a little bit
Yeah.
too much, but even on Kings Row, Brawl isn't essential. It's definitely very, very strong, but you can still run maybe a Hyperdive Pharmacy, or maybe just run Sigma Pharmacy on it, maybe just kind of stall on them a little bit, especially if the enemy team are running maybe a Mei Reaper or even just a Mei Kree. Kree can sometimes just get outpoked by a pharmacy who's just kind of flying around hotels. So we'll kind of have to see what both teams' preferences are. We'll have to see if Tenacity do want to go for this brawl, or if they want to stick to maybe more DPS oriented comps, because that does seem to be their strong point, putting Ravioli on those tracers, on those Sims, just those kind of high value DPS people who can get picks. So I think we're definitely going to see some individual preferences coming out on Kings Row.
Yeah, you can, like you mentioned, Ravioli is very comfortable on that Symmetra, and you can run the Symmetra here in King's Row. It becomes a bit more challenging when you reach like third point, and it's still decently good on first point, but second point Symmetra will just win you fights, honestly. So playing that Symmetra pick could be a good play, but I would imagine you would see mostly Mei Kree, maybe even some Mei Hanzo has been getting decent amount of playtime. So there are some options here on the table for both Tenacity and Double Cap.
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned there, just looking at the ults as well, Symmetra Wall on Streets phase, absolutely dominant, very, very good, very tight corridors. You can pretty much position it, and it can just kind of get you through double Streets phase there, kind of intersecting the entire map, because it's kind of just so straight and narrow as well. Dragonaut, very good there. Blizzard, very, very good there. Maywall, very, very good there. So I'd say Mei is almost going to be a must pick for any team, really. But We will have to see. Tenacity also did kind of seem to like the old Ash Mercy, which I actually think is a little bit underrated on King's Hero. I think Ash Mercy can get a lot of work done. Obviously, you won't be able to play Brawl because you won't have that Lucio, but I still think it's very, very strong. Those dynamites, it would do so much damage in the kind of narrow streets phase of King's Row. So we'll have to see again what teams are kind of leaning more towards.
Yeah, we will have to see here as we get ready to hop in. It will be Tenacity starting on the defense. So they will, we will be able to see what comps they want to run very early on. And I think that can give us a bit of a better idea of what we'll see throughout this map. And they're going to run the McCree, so kind of more of this traditional brawl setup here for the defensive side.
Yeah, it is just kind of be more of the same. Some very kind of frontline pressure heavy kind of comps here. Yeah, more the same. I was also thinking maybe we could see a team pull out to Zarya. I think Zarya on Kings Row still pretty good, although Diva does obviously offer so much utility in the way of the DM and just being able to kind of take the high grounds. But Zarya's just raw damage output can kind of be like a beta sim. The longer that Zarya's alive, the stronger your mid fights are, and just the more dominant you can become, especially with that Graviton Surge, which is gonna look like a little bit of a Symmetra action, a little bit of funky business on that sim. Maybe there's a little special TP lined up here for Frozen.
Yeah. Interested to see where they want to go with this. You can also throw up the fake TP to try to make them think you want to go somewhere and then not actually do it. So Maywolves don't get too much. Get those out of the way pretty early on this fight. And then the Immortality Field is forced out, which means that Double Cap can't play too aggressive there, but just going for a Fire Strike. That's all that Pongo did, and it causes him to drop there. The Symmetra turrets, though, beam down Dizzy, but it does not matter when you have Ravioli on the field. Comes with 2 kills there at the end of the fight to secure it for Tenacity.
Yeah, some nice shots there for Tenacity, but again, respawn advantage is going to be here for Double Cap, so they should be able to get some extra territory, and when you have a Symmetra, it's going to be pretty hard to lose that territory, especially when they get charged up. So yeah, they get a free pass to point here. It's looking good for them.
As they attempt to engage forward, great flashbang. It hits 2 players, but none of them are able to drop. And Dizzy's at such an unfavorable position. Ends up going down there. Matrix now thrown out. Oh, hero flank attempt for Ravioli, and he completely whiffs on his shots. And so now Tenacity are not in the best of situations. You're just trying to stall out for as long as possible. Maybe find a pick, but in the end, they will just want to reset this. They have the Reinhardt back, but they're not going to be able to touch onto the point. So that's going to be first point being gained by Double Cap.
Yeah, I don't love that flank from Ravioli, where you would have potentially been able to just kind of reset and get a hold of Archers. It's going to be a lot tougher. I do think that Tenacity are going to be able to get it, but early aggression now from Double Cap. Oh, great Diva Bomb.
Yeah, it's a very good aggression. The Diva Bomb was decent, but Pongo just brought down his shield and walked into Ravioli's LOS. And so you lose your Reinhardt in the start, and then Squirrel Bet just kills 3. I mean, okay. Go at it, I guess. Tenacity with the good hold. And now, Double Cap try to break through this choke.
Yeah, we're seeing that DPS prowess that Frozen was so afraid of, and yeah, the Diva Bomb very good at stopping the aggression, but Double Cap, they're not dissuaded, they want more.
Yeah, the May Blizzard into the Earth Shatter for Tenacity. 2 ultimates used. Well, they also used the Sound Bearer. So 3 ultimates used and 1 fight easily won there as Ravioli goes down to the Baby Diva.
Yeah, Ravioli gonna get pistol whipped there by the Baby Diva. You don't love to see it, but it'll happen every now and again. It is Double Cap.
Just a quick thing. Just because they're down the Kree, look how much space Tenacity has to give up now.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, especially because they know they kind of have a bit of an disadvantage at the moment. Double Cap, they're going to be looking to come in swinging in this fight, especially with a bit of a ego boost after that Glock to the head against Ravioli, and somewhat early, very defensive positioning.
Tenacity are going to outmaneuver the stone, come from behind. Blizzard gets thrown on forward. But, I mean, a bit of a feat from Tenacity, but the Shatter for Pongo is quite good. Sunbearer as well from Corey to try to sustain them through this. The Shatter is kind of a pure Shatter in all honesty, just managing to keep Double Cap into this fight. Oh, the freeze on a Pongo, and the High Noon is on board as well. Another Shatter from Dizzy to close this out. Tenacity with a really nice re-engagement and managing to get the team wipe.
Yeah, just very smart play from them. The early wall, the rotations, it's all very, very thought out. And the entire time they were moving as a six, which is very, very important when you're in the Bravery Brawl. You all need to stick together because family is what matters these days. It gets you the Fast and Furious diff. That's what we're really looking for here. Double cap though, they're not letting out more aggression. Maywall forced out early, not gonna get much, so it's a good start for double cap.
Diva Bomb now into the back line. Doesn't find much of anything there, but forces Pawn go into an unfavorable position, but two trades come back through. So now you have this even fight, but Squirrel Ben with a fadeaway Icicle. And this is going to be Tenacity holding on, even though they lost their Ryan pretty early on.
Yeah, that was a really odd play there from Dizzy. Decides to pin in with the Diva Bomb. And what it does get them the DC to cost them their main tank, and it does look like Dizzy isn't really going to be back in time, and yeah, the fight's just going to go ahead without them.
Yeah, the Blizzard from Squirrel Ben is a really nice forward engage. And Tenacity are playing with such tempo, and Double Cap seem to just be caught off guard by it.
Alright, yeah, sorry, I'm lagging a little bit. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but I am here. Yeah, there's a lot of votes here for double cap here. They're gonna definitely be looking to take their fire. It's gonna be all on Adafi now with this beat to kind of cancel it out. Dizzy as well will have the shadow available, so it's gonna have to be a big one for him.
And Matrix number 4. Oh no! Dizzy's their shadow just got blocked by Squirrel Ben's Baywall. Oh, then Unks eats the Blizzard there, and then Squirrel Ben eats them alive. I mean, I don't know if the stream can see chat, but somebody just said it's a Nero moment, and the Pichu bomb. I'm trying to think of something cool there, and I could just say think of Pichu bomb, and it's just, I mean, the bomb kills 3. What can I say? I mean, that was a crazy fight.
Yeah, that was real wacky fight there, and both divas popping off in big ways, and Squirrel Ben, again, as we saw in the Novice Division, the Mays like to do a little bit of trolling here in League Zero. They like to get a little wacky with it every now and again. The Diva's gonna be juking it out on high ground, but the wall also expended early for Tenacity, so that could be a possible opening here, especially with the high noon speed boost Diva Bomb.
Yeah, Diva Bomb into the back. Forces
Dizzy.
so much positioning there. And then the pin from Dizzy is a bit interesting. He's going to pull on back of it, trying to get a good swing going, but he's forced into his team. Really nice block there from Dizzy as well. And an opening pick there onto Tenacity. So, good start to this fight from Tenacity. And Double Cap are just trapped in this room. Stuck in a not unwinnable, but a not good position there, but they're going to use some ultimates and this Lucio speed boost to force their way out of it.
Yeah, I didn't love their engage, but they're going in again here with the Mayo. Doesn't manage to get eaten, and Pongo looking to get frozen up. Very lucky to get out.
Yeah, they do manage to escape there, but I mean, this last 30 seconds has just kind of been teams trading positions, using ults to gain position, and having to give it up because the other team has counter ults.
Yeah, it's a never-ending story, man. It's a never-ending story, especially with this immortality feels when T is coming out clutch.
He has no shield there, so he almost goes down, but he's able to stay alive for now. Sound barrier from a defuse tries to create some situation where they can hold W. Dizzy uses the pin to stay back on, but Oats not so lucky. Diva Bomb now into the backline does take down iMustache, and that's a multiplayer advantage for Double Cap. They're going to manage to get the cart continuing to move.
Yeah, Double Cap finally winning the war of attrition there, the never-ending fight, and they come out on top here, and they still have ults to speak of here. They're gonna have Window, they're gonna have big old Sim Wall, and they're gonna have Shadow, so they're gonna be looking good for this stall fight unless Ravioli can come up big.
Yes, that's Pongo goes down. No, I mean, what? Oh my! Oh. What a play there! He just kills 3. I kind of forgot how to speak for a second, but Oats put the words right into my mouth. What a play, and now it's up to Double Cap to try to get a touch onto this point, but the closest one is going to be Dr. Jargo, and he's not even going to be able to do so. So that's Tenacity holding on.
Yeah, and Oats is kind of eager to prove that Dr. Jargo isn't the only one who can come up with the big Diva Bomb kills as well. Oats is currently 1-0 in terms of remet kills, so looking bad if you're a Dr. Jargo fan, to be honest, because as we all know, remet kills are kind of the only thing that matters. You know, it's just a mental battle that comes with killing someone with a diva suit, you know? It's just it's beautiful. Perfect. But both teams playing very, very aggressively and just some very entertaining Overwatch all around. Who do you think has the better of this Brawl matchup so far? Who do you think's been playing more cohesively, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Now we are getting in.
We'll
Looks
have
like
to see.
we're gonna see the Kree comp from the defense, and then the Symmetra comp from the offense. So same comps as we saw last time. Oh wait, no, Tenacity's running the Kree
Someone's on
comp.
the
So
offense. Someone's
the attack is running the Kree comp. The defense is running the Sim comp. There we go.
Yeah, it does seem like Double Cap Arc favoring the Sim comp a little bit more, especially on the defense. I think it's going to be a lot more potent. You have a lot more defensive positioning, and the Sim can maybe get a little bit more charged up. And Dizzy going to be pinning from the top ropes. Very characteristic of them with their kind of questionable pins.
Yeah, an aggressive play coming through from Tenacity, and they force Double Cap to just hold the Esky for now, and then the shield of Pongo getting almost broken there, and he falls very low. But the opening pick will technically not the opening pick is the DMech there onto Oates, but Ravioli follows up with a trade before getting taken down by Frozen. So Tenacity not in the greatest of positions here, but they can get a quicker recontest.
Yeah, and losing your Baptiste is a little bit bigger of a deal than losing your McCree. So yeah, they're definitely going to be looking to go back in fast. It's a decent wall, but not going to do much, and the window looks good.
Oh, that's a great... Oh, there's a gap in that wall, actually, that Pong was able to just kite on back through. First tick's going to come through. They were looking to get a second one, and will not quite be able to do so. But they do find 2 picks to open this up. Just split up his double cap. They weren't able to play that situation as a team, so just Tenacity pick that apart and get a first point cap in a pretty speedy fashion.
Yeah, Tenacity doing fairly well. They're even going to be able to stomp out Tassi's arches, so Double Cap not going to be able to get that kind of favorable hold under the arches, which is a pretty big deal, especially since they have 5 minutes to work with here. It's definitely a very nice cap here for them. And just the ults as well. Like, it's looking very, very good here. If you're a Tenacity fan, just the sheer ult advantage, and now even kind of just a positional advantage because arches have been taken away.
Is he going to try to hold this corner there? That's a pretty good Maywell, but once again, there's a small gap in it that he's able to come back through. But that Blizzard, they're still getting out of it. Diva Bomb into the back as well. Pin comes through onto Pongo and takes him down. Shatters online for Dizzy if he feels the need to use it. But instead, they will just remove the remaining players from the fight. Symmetra drops as well, so now it's just the baby Diva on cart. Looks for a remake kill, not able to get it.
Yeah, the mayout there from Squirrel Ben was absolutely sublime there. Just absolutely splitting Double Cap perfectly in half, pretty much. Pongo just ends up deserted, naked and afraid there in his tiny little corner, just getting absolutely beaten over the head by Dizzy. And speaking of getting beaten over the head by Dizzy, not going to go for the shadow.
He will throw that Fire Strike through the Ant Matrix. No pick, though. Sound Barrier now for Tenacity. Counter Barrier. Diva Bomb. Doesn't get anything, but it breaks the shield, which allows the Shatter for Pongo to come up big. And then the counter Shatter from Dizzy, excuse me, not able to quite find the value he was looking for, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. The Blizzard's really well placed there from Tenacity and allows them to come up with the kills that they need. And so now they are in a great position to be able to close this out there. But I say that, but they're just finding the frags back. They had 3 players alive, and they have just won this fight. I mean, that was it. That was a crazy fight.
I'm gonna be real with you. I DC'd and I didn't see a single thing that happened in that
Essentially,
fight. But...
Tenacity double cap should have won, and Tenacity just like clutched it. I mean, it was kind of wild. It looks like he's disconnected again, having some internet issues, but that's quite all right. An attempt to engage onto the cart here. Mortality field from iMustache gets removed fairly early on, and so does Dizzy's shield. So he can't just get taken down, but a pin and a half coming through from Dizzy there. Does manage to find an opening. Panic does manage to find a trade kill there, however. As Frozen's falling quite low, Symmetra Wall is thrown on up. Blizzard there from Squirrel Ben. It's going to freeze them all up. They're going to manage to find a couple of picks. and they're in a great position to be able to close out this fight. Pongo falling very low. It's not able to stay alive for long, and the W key is being held there by Tenacity. Now they just need one more fight to close out this map. They have some ultimates to do so as well. Sound Barrier is online that can be used to engage quite quick. High Noon Shatter, High Noon both tank ults as well is quite large. Defense, you really don't have this Blizzard and Shatter to be working with. Dizzy actually got stunned out of his Shatter. And then the Shadow comes through for Pongo, doesn't find anything but booped over the Immortality field is frozen, so he ends up dropping to the High Noon. Diva Bomb now being dropped on the point as they try to stay alive, try to make anything happen. But the only thing that Tenacity or Double Cap are finding is the spawn room. Good boop off the edge there. They actually find 2 kills. They could turn this. Wrecking Ball flick now for Dizzy as they want to try to close this map out here and now, but they only have 3 alive. And so this would require a big heroic play from one of these remaining players. I don't think it's going to be coming anytime soon. So, I mean, that was absolutely massive there from Double Cap, managing to stay into this map for now. And they are going to switch back over onto the McCree, so no, switching off that Doomfist, no surprise. And the attack is going to go back onto the Reinhardt, so an exact mirror comp here, but the ultimate advantage is slightly in favor of Double Cap here. So if they can get a fight one off the Sat Matrix and Diva Bomb, they're in prime position as they wait for them to push around this corner. High Noon comes out. There's the Matrixes from both sides. Ravioli falling kind of low. Pops the High Noon. So much just LOS being forced from Tenacity, but the Blizzard is too good. Tanakby allows them to find 2 kills. There are now 2 minutes left on the clock for Tenacity to try to close this out. Frozen, Oats, excuse me, goes off the edge there. You know, just normal Diva things. As this is starting to look a bit tougher now for Tenacity. They still do have like 3 fights to work with, so it's not an unwinnable situation. They have both tank ults, the defense does. The attack only has this Blizzard, and then they're somewhat close to the Sound Barrier. So it's definitely winnable. So they will poke out and wait. Shatter, it's not hitting anybody. High Noon now from Frozen. It's kind of blocked off by this Bay wall, but Frozen will still look for it, not able to get it. iMustache is not in a prime position, but his team is able to take some space to make it, so he is in one. Now Sound Barrier to engage onto them. Silvertulls has the Sand Matrix, try to sustain through it. Lizard thrown on. Pongo throws it up, take it down. Squirrel Bed is dropped, however. Diva Bomb onto the point, gets the remaining players, and this would need to be a miracle for them to manage to stay in this. 1 kill comes through from Corey. That solo shadow from Dizzy actually ends up missing. And Matrix thrown out. High Noon from Ravioli. Keep anybody who wants to reach the point from doing so. And in the end, that's going to be Tenacity taking them at and going up 2-0 in the series. I mean, really well seen there from Tenacity, as both teams are honestly playing with such high tempo that it's honestly, it was a fun map of Overwatch to watch. Both teams really look like they understand what they want to do with the brawl there, as you can see that 3K bomb that really helps Double Cap close out second point. And put them in a situation where they could almost win that. So, very nicely done by them.
Yeah, apologies. I have returned. Fair warning, it may happen again. My Wi-Fi does get a little shoddy over here in Ireland. You know, we don't have the best infrastructure, but we're doing our best. And yeah, I definitely agree. From what I watched of that map, it looks very evenly matched in this kind of brawl re-brawl. Especially, I think, in off-tank and main tank. I think both those roles are kind of going tit for tat at the moment. DPS, I think Ravioli and Squirrelben are getting a slight edge, but Frozen and Tanakby, definitely no slouches.
Yeah, it's entirely fair. As Tenacity, though, up 2-0, and Double Cap really need to try to come up with an answer to Tenacity's tempo. They did a decent job there on third point, but up until the very end of third point, they kind of got rolled by Tenacity's just pace they were playing at. They were just putting the pedal to the metal and not slowing down, and it caused some problems for sure from for Double Cap. They started to figure it out a bit more. They were doing a better job at holding positions and retaking that parts of the map when they needed to. So I would not be too surprised if this remains close for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I do think Tenacity are just kind of playing a little bit faster and a little bit smarter at the moment. So while I do think both these teams are very evenly matched, I wouldn't be surprised if Tenacity just took this 3-0, to be honest. They just look just ever so slightly better than Double Cap at the moment in this brawl matchup. So I think Double Cap's main hope maybe is just to kind of mix it up a little bit, maybe bring out that brawl we saw with that Winston rather than the Ryan, and Gibraltar's a decent map to do it on. Maybe not the kind of brawl with the monkey, maybe just a dive. I think might just be a little bit better. And I think as long as they can shut down Ravioli, I think they could have a better time on Gibraltar than they have on Kings Row and Nepal, anyways.
Yeah, but you run into a problem here where Ravioli gets to play this Tracer pick, and he's very good on it, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if you do kind of see Ravioli manage to just carry this out, but that would be quite a problem. We have a
Yeah.
substitution though, I believe,
Emerald and Botanical, I
as
think, yeah.
Emerald will be coming in on the DPS line for Tanakby.
Oh, and Ravioli is going out.
And Ravioli,
They're solving the problem for you, Joe. They're taking Tenacity out of the equation, it looks like.
yeah, so Ravioli is getting subbed out here. I wonder if they have kind of a pocket pick for this map, as it's going to be Boca J who comes in.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe,
Opa as well on the DPS, so they'll be subbing out both of their DPS players, so
but we
maybe they
know.
have some pocket pick here for Gibraltar.
Yeah, we know. If I had to guess, I would say a Widowmaker. I think maybe they're gonna be leaning into double sniper because we know that if they want to go dive, they just probably leave Ravioli on the trace. They're very, very competent. So if I had to guess, I would say they're maybe going for either a double shield comp or a Sigma ball or just a dive double sniper comp. That's what my money's on right now. Bit of a double sniper action, and double sniper is just kind of the best comp to run on Gibraltar. The sight lines are just absolutely unstoppable if you have a decent Widowmaker. So we'll have to see if Opa and Bakage can kind of bring the same fire that Ravioli was able to in the previous two maps on the DPS role.
Yeah, we will have to see as we are just awaiting the readies from both sides, as it's going to be Tenacity once again starting on the defense. As this is, I'm excited to see what each team is able to really make happen here because this has been a very close series so far. Even though it's a 2-0, I feel like Double Cap have been right on the cusp both maps. And I and I don't know if these substitutions for Tenacity will be able to push them over the edge. Maybe it gives Double Cap a way back into the series. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that's obviously also very true. You know, both these subs obviously haven't played in the last two maps, so maybe their mental isn't in it. Maybe they don't have that same kind of momentum or hype after two map wins, or maybe they're just going to be more refreshed and ready to deliver the final blow to double cap and nail in that last nail in the coffin there. So yeah, we'll have to see. But if it is double sniper, I think they have a very, very good chance, especially if nobody on double cap is confident on the Widow. You kind of need a Widow to counter Widow. Otherwise, you're just kind of lost. You can try to counter it with a monkey, but more often than not, Widow can either just grapple away or just play far enough away that the monkey can't even get the engage on them without putting themselves at great risks, having to walk way closer than they would want to. So we will have to see. It's going to be Tenacity on the defense, I believe, and no, it's actually just going to be Opa coming out on the Tracer. So Ravioli gonna get subbed out for a different Tracer player. Interesting.
Yeah, and then Jacob will be rocking the Yakka. On the attack, they're just doing a wee bit of trolling.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. Just a minuscule amount of tomfoolery.
Just a teensy weensy bit. But yeah, this defense, it's looking, yeah, it's a dive with Mercy on it. The on it obviously going to be very, very exposed unless Oats can really bring the hard pocket. So I's going to be on Eye Mustache here to just kind of stay alive and be able to pump that healing into Dizzy and maybe get a nano online. It's going to be dive from both sides, and Frozen actually going to be the one to pull out the Widow.
Yeah, interesting pick there from Frozen. I'm not really interested, and I do like the Widow on this map. I keep bugging my team to let me play it, as he is just not taking a shot on iMustache, who has stood perfectly still for him. Someone check Frozen's mouse, make sure it's working. As the picks are just coming through, and Frozen is still yet to take a shot.
Frozen just did.
I don't know what Frozen's doing. He finally shoots somebody. I mean, he could have done that when his team was like not down 3 players.
They're making it interesting, bro. They're just making it interesting.
Can somebody clip this so I could send it to Frozen and call him like a shitta or something? Like, I mean,
listen, think. Patience is key when you're on Widowmaker, man.
Patience is key! Nabata was standing still!
Adafi actually gonna get kind of caught out of position and falling early, so double picks now. It's all going to plan. It's all going to. This was the plan the whole time, and now Frozen's getting the kills. It's all fun. Don't worry about
it. He SMG's Jacob to death there. It actually drops Oats kind of low as well, so they will have to give up some positioning. He's looking to try to manage to hit a shot onto Opa, but Opa will not give him that duel. Now Opa inside of the control room as well. The Brig from Corey has done a great job of keeping the Silver Toes alive. Good anti-did for iMustache onto the tank line of double cap. Frozen getting chased down here and pops the Primal Rage in the back line. Dizzy's falling quite low though, half HP at this point, so around 500 left. Not a lot of health working with for Dizzy. He does end up getting healed back up, however. Nano Boost now applied onto Dizzy. So going forward onto the Monkey there, and then fighting inside of this small control room does favor this Echo Tracer comp. And you can see it's starting to work out in their favor here. Ultimate's being expunged, and the fight being won there by Tenacity.
Yeah, server room might need to be renamed to slaughter room. That was a pretty insane thing there. I mean, double cap, they managed to hold in that room for so long. The peel was very, very good. The rally came out. Dizzy got dropped low. They just weren't able to contend with that Nano Monkey and then the Echo Duplicate. It just became a little bit too much. And as you highlighted there, Frozen on Widowmaker is pretty much useless if they go into server room, but a good stick onto Dizzy.
Yeah, and Dizzy does end up dropping Nano Boost on Silver Tolls. Gives them a bit more damage work. A nice shot there from Frozen onto Opa, making his presence known. Resurrect. That's a risky one. It ends up working out though. Bert's gonna start to move back forward. Primal Rage now coming out from Pongo. Fly up onto Jacob as he falls quite low. Not able to take him down though. As neither team has really secured this fight quite yet, is what I'm trying to say there, but the Demon Buff promotes. Forces positioning and gets a pick. Nano Boost out onto Dizzy as well, as they will close out this fight.
Yeah, these fights are so chaotic and they're just lasting so long. There's dives, there's counter dives, there's peel. There's just so much intricacy going on here, but Tenacity will have won 2 fights now off the back of iMustache just building up a Nano mid-fight, slapping it on Dizzy and saying, go monkey, bro, go buck wild. And Dizzy obeys the orders, you know, just dives into the backline, finds Frozen, finds the Ana, and just goes big. So Dizzy definitely having their impact felt here on this monkey.
Yeah, for sure. Primal Rage out into the back. Boops 2 off the edge there. Oh, Dizzy. Dizzy, make your presence known, man. Takes them down. Take a bow, Dizzy. As he makes everybody know his name. And Tenacity are so close. 76 meters away from taking the series.
That was pretty, Dizzy respectable, am I right, guys? That was pretty insane play there. Getting the triple kill there with that Primal Rage. Not what you see popping up in the kill feed too often, but Dizzy making it look like a Nano Blade almost. Just very solid play from them. As soon as I mention the name, they just absolutely go in and just hammer away at double capping. Tenacity now, they're on the brink now. They're on the cusp. A very nice full hold on Gibraltar, and if you're a Tenacity fan right now, you're thinking GG easy, pretty much. Just like we said, it was close on all the other maps, but at this point, it's just they're just getting blown out of the water here.
I mean, yeah, this is the opposite of close. This is an incredible hold there, and I mean, what? one fight and then kind of a scrappy recontest needed from Tenacity. And if they're able to do that, that's going to be the series. And this would be a great win to kind of help submit Tenacity in the upper echelons of intermediate.
Yeah, Tenacity, they definitely look like real kind of glow beaters right now. Just very good play. Their DPS lineup, even like their sub DPS lineup, as we've just seen with Opa and Balkarj, are just doing really, really well. And then their main tank Dizzy, it's just Tenacity has so many good individuals, and they're just making it look so easy right now. And they're even going to get a lot of opening damage with the Pongo.
Yeah, a lot of damage to start off. As they will just kind of sit on this high ground. Double cap will. As not really... Okay, there's the dive onto the high ground. Both tanks will commit on through, and Oats picks up two. As the Tracer and the Monkey for double cap are kind of trying to chase down Jacob, but they're not able to do so as the peel's there, and the kills are still going the way of double cap.
How did that even happen? What was... Like, how did Double Cap just die? Did Oats just body block them in that room and just kill them all? That was so bizarre, but honestly I thought the roles were reversed and the point's almost gone already. What do you even do if you're Double Cap?
Double cap are in an unfavorable situation here. They would need a miracle to pull this off. And I don't think they're going to get a miracle. It's a great sleep out to Emerald and Jacob with a bit of a tactical crouch. And Tenacity absolutely dominate double cap 3-0, and they will start off this season in a 3-0 fashion.
Yeah, they're really warmed into this game. The first two maps very close, very competitive, and then the third, it just looked like a playground for Dizzy and the DPS of Tenacity. It just looked like they could do whatever they want, whenever they wanted. They were just completely and utterly in the driver's seat. Just very, very clean play from them. If Tenacity keep this up, I could easily see them finishing first in their division. Just extremely confident, and yeah, like they're good and they know it pretty much. Just very, very good play from them.
Yeah, for sure. As now, now we have to get a interviewee from Tenacity. So kind of for your pseudo player of the match, who would you give it to?
Player of the match, I would say. I don't even know, to be honest. There was just so many solid players, as well with the subs. Just kind of messes with my head a little bit. I think Oats was very consistent throughout this series. I think they did quite well. I think Dizzy had a very, very good last map. I think iMustache as well. Very, very solid throughout this series. I think Ravioli, obviously.
If we just
Very
name the whole roster and say they're
confident.
good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah, I final answer the entire roster, but if I had to give it to one player, I would say probably just Ravioli. I'm just gonna default to the DPS superstar, you know?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with it. I think you did touch on it for a second there. The DPS players, I mean, the tanks kind of popped off, honestly. Um, Dizzy and Oats did so much work there on that tank line, and somebody who kind of, I believe, will probably fly under the radar because of their position is going to be a Deefy. I mean, the main support doesn't get a lot of love, but they were so clutch at so many moments with good sound barrier timings. They were always in a good position, and they never were in a bad spot. So yeah, it's just a.
Oh,
So
apologies.
it's going to be
Wi-Fi.
Opa.
Okay.
Tenacity are convinced that they will bring in Opa. And okay, I
I'm
assume.
about to DC, by the way. I can feel it coming. I'm about to DC. Oats is pretty good. Oh,
Pendy
Oats
is
kind of.
currently complaining because everybody has the same nickname on the Discord.
Hey, I
But
mean, who
yeah,
wouldn't be an Oats fan, man? Oats did pretty well. You know, a lot of nice deep bombs, few good eats as well. Just very solid all around.
yeah, the entire team of Tenacity played incredible today.
Definitely
Um,
looking like world beaters through and through.
Hi.
And here it is, the man himself. We got a
Do I need
Opa in here.
you doing
Uh,
it through
oop.
Discord?
Hey, then
Oh
we
wait, I'll
got
set my
the.
lights down. Okay, Google, set my light to 50%. I'll make it eerie. Let's go.
We got the British man in here for a
Oh,
quick
actually, wait.
interview.
Okay,
Oh.
Google, set my light to red. Tenacity time. Anyway,
Congratulations on the win there, Opa. Just a quick question. Just how are you feeling about this win?
um, I think this was the first team realistically that we've gone up against that we knew was going to be potentially like quite a hard game. We were worried considering the hype around winning the draft, and we know that their players are good, and we wanted to respect that heavily. Like we're not here to joke around. We do want to win, so we did prepare quite heavily for this. We didn't go in with an ego. We don't want to be toxic to any of the guys in the enemy team. Like that was a great game. That was a really fun game to watch. But yeah, that was a spectacular game to like be part of and also watch.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you do have to be.
we're very happy.
You have to, yeah, you do have to be scared of the team that, in Ranter's own words, did win the draft. So
I mean, there's some great players on that team.
yeah, for sure, sure. But yeah, you mentioned it there. You said it was a fun match to watch, and you got to play in the final map there. The only map of the series that I would say was kind of a steamroll, but yeah. So these first two maps, you the first two maps, if I could talk, were very brawl heavy, and those were a lot closer. Do you think? And then the final map where you saw more of the dive comps, though you guys seem to dominate that a bit more. Do you think that was due to you guys feeling more comfortable in the dive comps, or do you think double cap are just a bit more polished on the brawl?
I think um, I think with a lot of comps, they have their strengths and their weaknesses, and I think you got to see a lot of those during the match. So, for example, on the more brawl heavy maps, brawl is very much a comp where it's like a very big team effort. You're not necessarily looking for individual play; you're more looking for a whole team, and I think that's where you really shine as a team, and like that's why we respected double cap so much because we know that as a team they can work quite well together. So that's why we had to sort of like we did practice our brawl in scrims. We knew that it was going to come up. It's one of the most popular comps at the moment. We wanted to make sure that we were strong on it, and we do have specific players for those comps. I.e., for example, we like to play Rav and Ben for the Korean A. Like we think they're very strong on those heroes. Um, dive dive can be dive can be very varied. I think it's a lot on individual, and it's also you've got that team aspect of the dive, and you've got to have good tempo. I think Dizzy is one of my top like main tanks to play with for dives. Very very good at calling for what he wants. Plus you've got like the hottest off tank Oats, so hot, so unbelievably hot. And yeah, I mean. I kind of have to say it because it's up for debate, but I think there's a bit of an EU diff. I'm from England. We've got I'm a stash from the Netherlands versus Emerald from Finland. So this is our 1-0. This is our 1-0 against Finland so far. So we'll see what happens in the rest of the season. But yeah, no, that was a great game, and I think it really did show that like even though it's a 3-0, like genuinely double cap have a very strong brawl, and we were worried. Like there were parts where we were worried. So like yeah, fair play to them. Like, it was a great game.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and anybody would like to shout out any trash talk?
Um, so once again, Oats is hot. I've got to mention
it. This is true.
I'm a stash is kind of nutty for hitting shots on Zen at like 150 ping. I've got to call him out.
This is also true.
Very, very, very good player. Yeah, I think to be honest, I want to shout out my whole team for just playing well. Like I've been coaching like Ben and Rav for a while now, and they've been really fun players to work with. It's also nice. Like I want to shout out Bokaj. This is his debut. We've been running him a lot on the dive maps because we think me and him have quite a lot of synergy. And also our hero pools mesh quite nicely for dive. So yeah, awesome to see him play well on his debut. I was really happy for him. And yeah, I think any other players, Dizzy, great main tank, Epic Shock, still just rolling on the ball.
It's just
a Deefy nuts. But yeah, I think it's been great to work with these players. And yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with how it's turned out. Also, I'm also called Joe, so I feel that this is quite a nice meeting.
It's a nice interview.
This is special.
We got Joe and then Joe. I'm in the pantry. You're in the bedroom. That's
I mean, you can come to mine if you want, but anyway, yeah, but yeah, it was a great match to be part of, and it's always nice to play Tracer and win.
all right. Well, I have one more question for you. Do you guys think you're the best team in Inter?
Ooh. Well, I'm not going to say yes.
Okay.
Now, based on the fact that we haven't seen every team yet. Now, I know that we've still got Papega Parrots, I believe, Exodus, and Thought Police to play. And although the standings may say they're not doing great, multiple weeks can change teams. I don't want to say we're the best. I will admit we're doing very well. Like to win the matches, like we've dropped one map, I believe, over 3 series now. So we're doing very well. But yeah, I don't want to say we're the best, but I do want to say we're doing amazing, and I want to make sure that we come out with the full wins. And I think that map is going to be the only map we drop. And if it's not, I will be like hard coaching. Me, Suki, and QZ and Manny slapping them. I shouldn't say that on camera, really, should I? Reach for the monitor.
Cut the feed.
Yeah, please, Ralph, please don't feed. Sorry, anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you want to plug your Twitter or something before we let you go?
No one's gonna follow it because I'm British. But it's
good reason. I'm not gonna go follow it now.
it's at Operox, my in-game name or my Discord name. But really, let's be honest, we shouldn't be following me. We should be following Oates because he's just so hot. I don't get it, bro. Just follow Oates. Ignore my Twitter handle. There's nothing going on there other than like British government memes. Just go over to Oates' Twitter. Hottest man on the internet. Just saying.
What's Oates' Twitter?
At Oates.
Hold on, we'll figure this out.
At Oates_Overwatch, I believe is his Twitter.
And if I'm wrong, double check this.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I did forget to mention. There was an objective for today, and it was to fart on their balls, and I believe we farted on their balls.
Congrats on succeeding in your goal for today, and it is
Thank you so much.
Oates' Twitter is Overwatch_Oates. So
there you go. Follow that, please.
Go give him a follow. But yeah, congratulations on the win here, Opa. You can go back to your Discord or your voice chat and go celebrate with your team. Congratulations on a big win.
Will do. Thank you very much. Yeah. Love you, Joe.
I love you too, Joe.
I'll see you guys later. Have fun.
All right, see you. And that was it there. My co-commentator has completely just vanished. It's just me. I mean, Pendy's here. Yeah, you can't see Pendy, but Pendy is here. But yeah. That was a fun series to watch, even though it was a 3-0. It was a lot of funny moments, like Frozen refusing to take a shot for 30 seconds. It's pretty good. But other than that, that is going to be it for us here at League Zero. Let me double check real quick on the second game that was happening on screen. Okay, so yeah, that game I believe is wrapped up. But yeah, so gonna be it for us here at League Zero. I'm Joe Razor. Pendy has been the wonderful streamer today. And just to recap, that was a 3-0 win there for Tenacity over Double Cap, which is a big win there. But yeah, that's going to be it for us, and I do hope to see you around.